welcome to Unfiltered with Skyla. If you're new here, hi, my name is Skyla, and if you have been here for a while, you obviously know this is not like my usual content. I usually make day in the life type of videos or vlogs, and I haven't posted within like a year or 2 years just because, we're going to talk about that later on in the podcast. But I've been wanting to start a podcast for so long now, and I've just been so hesitant about it just because, you know, it is a bit nerve wracking getting in front of a camera and speaking about, things you struggle with. And yeah, I've just decided, you know what? I want to do it, and I've been wanting to do it for so long now. This is going to be very chilled. I'm literally just going to sit here and I'm going to talk to you guys. I do have another phone just so I can keep track of, what I'm talking about. This space is for me to literally vent and just talk about things that I've always wanted to talk about or that I've spoken about, but it's only been to people, private, mostly my boyfriend. One of the main things that I want to talk about, I'm just gonna get comfortable. I'm literally gonna sit like this because I don't want this to be a podcast where I am uncomfortable. So I'm literally just gonna sit like this. So this is going to be episode 1 of the Unfiltered with Skyla podcast. And this episode is about spiraling, growing, and figuring out life at 19 years old. So I am turning 20 this year, but right now I'm 19 and it's still a while until my birthday. So I'm just going to say I'm 19. And, you know, for a while now, I've definitely felt, a bit lost. And I know it might not seem like it if you know me, if you're watching this and you know me, it might seem like I have it all figured out, but I really do not at all. Like for the past, I would say 2 years, like since I dropped out of school, like there was a time when I was literally doing nothing. Like if you've ever dropped out of school, and especially if you were homeschooling, there's a time where you literally become silently depressed and are doing nothing because, to be honest, I hated school, but there was a lot of benefits to it in like the routine, behind it. Like if you had school, you knew you had to wake up at a specific time every morning. You had to put on your school uniform. Um, you had to eat breakfast at this time, and then you had to start your schoolwork, and then it was, whatever sport you had, or you know whatever you had at school. And when I started homeschooling, it became very difficult because I had to rely on myself. I had to be like, okay, Skylar, you have to get up at this time. You have to, start your schoolwork at this time, and you become very lazy. So I highly do not recommend homeschooling just from my personal experience. And I literally just eventually dropped out of it just because I had this opinion around school. And it was a very bad opinion because I went to a school that I didn't enjoy, and I thought there was no benefit to it. I was like, what's the point of having a matric? Like, it's just going to be a certificate. And, if I could go back, I would have finished school, but I would have preferred to finish school if I actually, you know, went to a physical school and it wasn't online. So I don't know how long this podcast is going to be. It's probably going to be very long because I can talk, but I figured I would give you guys a bit of a background story before I get into anything that I actually want to speak about. So, yeah, when I homeschooled, there was a period of my life where I wasn't even doing my school. Like I was literally cheating on my exams. And I know I'm literally exposing myself right now, but every person that homeschools can say that they cheated on all their tests. Like don't come and lie. We all know. If the teachers would literally give us the answers. So I can't even say that I cheated because I would literally ask the teacher for help, and then she would give me the answers. That was when I had to go write my exams. But yeah, anyways, when I dropped out, I became very depressed. I was like, I'm gonna become a YouTuber, influencer, everything. that never happened. I literally did nothing. And then eventually I started my content creation for other businesses. So I would do their content creation and run their social media. I still do that, but eventually I found my purpose and what I actually want to do. And I started a swim community, and I was able to grow my social media, especially my TikTok. I got about 13,000 followers on there now. Yeah, I have about, it's very small at the moment, but I have about 4 members in my swim community, which is amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a background story before I speak about anything. So, the whole reason why I wanted to give a bit of a background story is because I had a talk with my boyfriend like about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He literally sat down with me and was like, Skyla, you gotta get your shit together. I'm sorry to swear, but you gotta get your shit together because right now you got nothing going for you. And I know to some of you, you might be like, yo, that's a bit harsh, but he was right. I mean, if your loved ones aren't um exposing your faults, and yes, we all have faults, but there are some faults that you need to fix. And I mean, my boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years, so we know each other. Like, we know each other so well. And if they aren't exposing your faults, then they don't actually love you. So he pointed out all the things, and I broke down and I cried because I realized, oh my word, this is right. And I've literally been living in a silent depression for so long, and I didn't even realize it because there were some days where I would literally just doom scroll and doom scroll and doom scroll and doom scroll and live through other people's lives, and it was just a constant cycle. And then at the end of the week, I'd be so sad, and I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to start from Monday. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And it would just never happen. It would just be a constant cycle over and over and over. And I realized, like, I had no routine at all. No routine. It doesn't matter whether I was still posting my swimming content. I was still going to my one client. I have a client that I do content creation for, and I run their social media. It doesn't matter if I was going to that one client, I had no routine at all. And you could say, Skyla, you're only 19 years old. Yes, I know. I am only 19 years old and I'm still figuring out life. But that is why I wanted to create this podcast, because there's such a high expectation for not even goals in general, just people in general, the moment they get out of school. People have this high expectation that you have to have your entire life figured out, and you don't. Like, you're gonna go through struggles. You're gonna, get to a stage where you don't know what the heck you're doing and you have to figure out life. But one thing I can say is don't be hard on yourself. Unfortunately, some people might have to hit rock bottom to realize where they are in life and what they have to do better. Maybe some people will realize it in a better way, but unfortunately, I had to hit rock bottom to realize it. And it wasn't just about not having a routine, it was losing myself. You can hear I'm getting a bit emotional in my voice because, like, this is a serious topic. I know I might be smiling and stuff, but this is like a bit deep. It wasn't just about not having a routine. It was also about, I picked up so much weight. Like, I was a competitive swimmer for so long, and I mean, we would train like twice a day, twice a week, and we would train Monday to Saturday, and it would be around 5Ks every day. And because I was a competitor, so I had to eat healthy as well. But I was burning a ton of calories. I was gymming as well. So I didn't have to eat like extremely healthy, but I didn't gain weight easily. And the moment I stopped swimming competitively, the weight went up like this. Like, I literally, guys, it's actually, it's You guys might look at me and be like, but Skyla, you aren't fat. Guys, I know I am not fat, but I am overweight for my height, first and foremost. I'm not tall. I'm about average. I don't know what average height is. I'm 5'4". That is not tall. Um, and if you feel unhealthy and if you feel unhappy within, your weight, then there's nothing wrong with saying that you are a bit overweight. And guys, if you had to see the way I would eat, and also this is like, so the reason why I'm speaking about this now is because through the depression, I would eat. So when I was sad, I would eat. When I was angry, I would eat. When I was stressed, I would eat. Everything, like if you put any food in front of me, I would eat it. Like, guys, I literally, and the worst part is when you're in a relationship, you get very comfortable. And when, you go through a time where there's nothing to do but watch movies and eat on the weekend, like, I would literally eat 2 packets of chips, a packet of sweets, a chocolate when me and my boyfriend would watch a movie. And then, during the day, I would eat breakfast, I would eat lunch, and I would eat dinner. I had no idea that I was like consuming so many calories. Like, it was when I started doing research about like calories and stuff, I was actually shocked that in 1 packet of chips is like about 500 calories. And it is insane. And, you know, the amount of times I would speak to people about this and I would be like, I don't like where I am, with my weight, and I want to do this and I want to do that. And they would be like, but Skylar, you need to be happy with the body God's given you. And I'm like, God did not give me what I created. God did not give me, you know, a body where I overindulge with chips and sweets and junk food. God did not give me that body. God gave me a body where I honor my temple. And during this time, I was not honoring my temple. Obviously, I have gotten better. I'm not as bloated as what I used to be, but I'm still not where I want to be. I mean, I can be so for real with you guys. Like, I ate 2 packets of chips like the other day and I felt disgusting afterwards. And it was a horrible feeling. And it's just, I've gotten better. I've started walking. I don't eat as much, but it's just like this constant feeling of like, how am I going to lose weight? And this constant feeling of like, I don't have enough money. Like, I'm not in a family where, my parents can just buy all these, you know, foods where you can lose weight. And yes, I know I don't eat fancy foods, but I need to be eating specific foods to lose weight. And unfortunately, I don't have a ton of money to buy that. And it's just this constant stress of like, how am I going to lose weight? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And oh my word, guys, this is literally me venting because this is what I think on a day to day basis. And I don't really like, I do talk to people about it, but I never get to just say exactly what I want to say because I don't want to upset people. I don't want to trigger people because some people are triggered by the word fat or by the word skinny. And to be honest, guys, I don't even want to be like, the gym, like how the gym girls look. I want to be skinny. I want to be that girl that can put on any outfit and feel confident. And you can say whatever you want. I do not feel confident. If I to compare, like my boyfriend even says this, when he met me, I was 14 years old. I was more confident at 14 years old than at the age I am now. And it was because I was confident within my body. I am not confident within the body I'm in now. And it sucks, but I am working through that. I am doing better. But it is just something that I wanted to speak about because a lot of people don't want to speak about that. And I thought it was important to speak about. And then that goes with comparing myself to other goals. Like when I'll see another goal and I'll be like, oh my word, this is in my mind, just all by the way. I'll be like, oh my word, I want her body. I want to waist. Oh my word, I'm so fat. Like, how can she look like that from every angle? And then I don't look like that from every angle. And then it will be like, when I want to take photos with friends, I don't even want to take photos because I don't like the way that I look in the photos. And then I have to message and be like, don't post that photo. I don't like the way I look. And then I seem so insecure. And then it gives like just this negative vibe from me. And it's just like, no, I'm just insecure about my body because I don't like the way it looks right now. And yeah, it's just a horrible feeling. And yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working through it. I'm doing better. I've actually decided I wasn't going to tell anyone this, but I figured I would just tell the few people that are going to watch this video. Um, Basically, with the money that I do get every month, I've decided to, instead of buy chips, as a snack, like one packet of chips, like we all know we have our cheat days, like on a Saturday. Instead of you know, doing that every Saturday or spending it on random stuff I don't need. I'm gonna rather, buy the chicken breasts, buy the wraps, buy the because there's food, guys. You're gonna think like my family, like we literally, you're gonna think that there's no food in my house. Like there's food for breakfast and dinner, but I don't have food for like, lunches or like healthy snacks. So I'm gonna rather use my money to spend it on that. Okay, we're gonna go on to the next topic now because I can talk about that for so long. Um, okay, if you guys didn't know, I am Christian, and I don't know whether my subscribers are Christian or not. I'm not gonna be a Christian influencer right now just because that is a lot of pressure. And I wanted to be at a stage because I was at a stage where I was very close with God. And right now I'm at a stage in my life where I have drifted away just because, if you didn't know, in Christianity, you are either in or you're out. There's no in between. Well, that's what we taught. You're either in or you're out. And for a very long time, I was all in. I quit a lot of things. And every time I did that, every time I quit everything all at once, if you don't know what I'm talking about sin. I quit everything all at once. I was literally, when I say I wasn't swearing, I wasn't watching any like, bad movies. I wasn't listening to any secular music, just like the normal, things that you aren't supposed to do as a Christian. I quit it all. And every time I did that, I would be good, good, good. And then I would just fall back into everything all at once. And I realized that having a relationship with Jesus is a process. And I learned that you can't quit everything all at once. Like you literally can't. I've tried it so many times. And I realized that because there were so many people that I looked at and I was like, how are you living like that? Like, how were you 1 minute partying and doing this and now you're like holier than thou? Like you literally like how? Because I've tried it and it hasn't worked. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I realized, not everyone's the same. For some people, it's going to be a quick fix. For some people, it's going to be a process because, everyone's different. And I've realized right now that it's going to be a process for me. And right now, I'm focusing on certain things, that I want to stop. And God and I are dealing with that. It's not like I'm not praying, it's not like I'm not reading my Bible, but I'll be honest, through November, December, like a bit of January, I literally didn't open my Bible and I didn't speak to God once. And that was a very dark time. Like, yes, it was fun because I got to do whatever I wanted with no conviction, but when I say it was so difficult to get back to God. Like that first prayer that I had, it's like I couldn't even speak. It was like there was so much like because I know in the back of my mind what I was doing was wrong, but I couldn't speak to God about it at all. But right now, I'm at a good place with God. God knows where I am. He knows what I'm doing. He knows the process that I'm in. And instead of being fake, because this is just my opinion, if you're going to quit everything at once just because you know that, this is wrong, and you just quit everything, I think that's fake, because you need to have the true conviction from God to quit those things. I never had the true conviction. I just felt so guilty because I would sit in church and I would hear the pastor say this and this and that. I'd be like, okay, I can't be doing this. I need to stop it because it's wrong. And then I would stop it, but then I would be like, but this isn't even real. Like, I didn't even get the true conviction. So until I get that conviction from God, I will stop it. And that's been helping. It's been helping. Life has been better. Like, yes, it sucks because I'm not as deep. Like, I'm not as, in the work. Like, how do I say this? Like, when I stopped everything, God's voice was way clearer. But but the way I was feeling wasn't true. I was being fake. I was trying to fit in, and I wasn't true to myself. Whereas now, I'm honest with myself. If I still want to have a glass of wine, I'm gonna have a glass of wine. Um, yeah, that's just an example I'm going to use. And there are certain things that I stopped with in the world, with sinning. But there are certain things that I still do, and it's a process. Like I said, it's a process. The reason why I'm speaking about this is because I get very frustrated, because this was an ongoing struggle in my life where nobody spoke about it. I was like, why is nobody speaking about the process of when you are struggling because you on fire for God, like you want this relationship with Him, but then at the same time, you still want to go party and go and do all the worldly things, and nobody speaks about that process where you are trying to figure it out. And I've decided to speak about it because nobody speaks about it. Everyone wants to speak about all the bad things, and this is demonic, that is demonic, that is demonic. Okay, and what you need to do to stop doing those things. And then they speak about, the blessings of God, but nobody speaks about that time when you're trying to get out of that, and how long it sometimes takes for some people, because I've only heard the stories and the testimonies of Jesus changed my life, and I never want to go back into the world because He just fills me so much with happiness. And I believe that. But why aren't we talking about the time where you had a relationship with God, but at the same time, you were struggling because you still wanted to enjoy life? So that's how I feel about that. So the next thing I want to speak about, and I think this is going to be the last thing that I speak about, and it relates to the whole not knowing where I am in life and, just growing as a person. Social media is actually so evil, nobody even understands it. And I'm not talking about YouTube, so I'm talking about doom scrolling and what you watch. So I realized that, guys, okay, I'm going to give you a bit of a hack that you can use if you ever doom scroll. My boyfriend actually recommended this to me. So you're on your phone and you're doom scrolling, doom scrolling, doom scrolling, okay? Switch your phone off, okay? You see, it's a black screen, and just stare at your phone. Just stare at it. Stare at that black screen, because that's what you are literally doing. You are staring at a black screen. And ever since he said that to me, I was like, oh my word, I am wasting my life. You are literally. Sorry, I'm just checking if this mic is still on. And it is, because I've been talking for a while now. You are literally staring at a screen, and you are living through a screen. You are watching other people's lives. You are living through other people's lives. And I caught myself doing that for so long. That's why I was so depressed. That's why I was in silent depression, because it is easy to wake up, switch on your phone, and watch other people's lives, because it gives off that dopamine, that nice feeling of, oh, this could be me one day, blah blah blah. But then you don't even get to the stage where you actually put in the effort so you can live that life. And even the whole, Epstein files that came out, that was constantly on my TikTok page, and I was just consuming, consuming, consuming. And I would talk to my boyfriend about all the stuff, and he was like, Skyla, you need to chill. Like, you need to actually, like, I don't know, delete TikTok, because that is too much on your mind right now. You know, this is why I could never be an atheist, and no hate to the atheists out there at all. But this is just proof that God exists. The enemy is literally using social media as a tactic to destroy humans. Like, I actually catch myself scrolling, and then I'm like, okay, Skylar, you actually have to put your phone down, because this is too much. This is too much. The amount of energy and time that I waste sometimes on social media, when I could have been doing something else. I could have been playing with my dogs. I could have been working on my business more. I could have gone for a walk. I could have, done something. I could have, you know, hung out with a friend. I could have done something. And one tip of advice that I'll give you: switch your phone off and stare at the black screen, because that will help you realize how much time you're wasting on social media. I just wanted to speak about social media, especially because it is very difficult when you want to become an influencer. And that has always been a goal of mine since I was a little girl. I wanted to be an influencer. I wanted to form content. I wanted to make YouTube videos. I literally would take my mom's Blackberry and ask her to take videos of me, or I would take videos on it. And I would make fake YouTube videos. If you're a girl, you know that. If you're a girl, you know how it was back in the day when you would make fake YouTube videos, and that's what I would do. And then I went through a phase where I made YouTube videos, and then I stopped. And the reason why I stopped is because of my insecurity, because of me gaining weight. That's why I didn't want to make YouTube videos. That's why you're only seeing me now. And even though I haven't lost a ton of weight, I've kind of stayed the same weight. I just more or less don't look as bloated, I would say. Well, I don't even know if I lost the weight on the scale, because I didn't weigh myself during that very depressed time. But that's why I didn't post, because I was too insecure for people to see. I'm like, why are people gonna want to watch me? Why are people gonna want to watch a girl who, you know, isn't skinny? And I know that's bad, but I'm being honest. That's literally what I thought. Um, so I don't know what I was speaking about. I can't remember what I was speaking about. I've spoken about so many things now. But with wanting to be a influencer, it was difficult, because I would get motivated from watching these videos online and on TikTok and Instagram. And I'd be like, I want her life, and I'd watch it, watch it, watch it. But I would never create it. I would never create the dream life. I would never actually put the camera on and film. I would never, I would just consume that feeling of, yeah, that could be me. But I would never actually do it. So this is me starting to create content again. I really want to create TikTok content, but I don't know what content to create, because I don't even have like guys, I don't know why, but this irritates me so much. I literally have like about 2000 and something, like I think it's 2300 or 700. Why does nobody like my videos? Like, why are you following me? Like, just unfollow me at this point. Um but yeah, my Swimming with Skyla account does really well. Like, my top video, this is insane. My top video is on 300,000 views. That is like insane. But my personal account gets no views, but it's because I don't have a niche and I've just posted like random videos. But I really want to do better on that. But I think I'm going to end this video off here. And if there's anything you guys would like me to talk about personally, or even like any advice, even though, I'm on my own journey and I'm still figuring out life, like I need to remind myself that I'm literally 19 years old. I'm only turning 20 this year. And I expect myself to have my entire life figured out. I expect myself to, be owning a ton of money right now. I have such high expectations for myself, and I think sometimes I just have to slow down. I just need to chill just a little bit. Um, but even though I'm on that journey, if you guys ever want me to give advice about something or even to speak about something that, you know, you might want me to speak about, comment down below, or you can even DM me on Instagram. All my social media accounts will be linked in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Oh my word, this is crazy. I've literally been wanting to start a podcast for so long, but I've been so scared because I don't know. I feel like it's just because so many people know me now and so many people like know that I have a YouTube channel, like people that I know. And I'm scared that if they see me talk about things like this, they're gonna view me different. But this is the real me. So if you don't like it, then, you know, it's okay. I'm not everyone's cup of tea at the end of the day. That's why this podcast is called Unfiltered with Skyla, because I know this is not a good thing and I am working on it. But I haven't really got a filter. It's gotten better over the years, but I still don't have a filter. And that's what this podcast is about, talking about the things that I think about on a day to day basis and nobody else talks about. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. And even if you want me to create, normal YouTube videos, just comment down below in the comments what type of videos you would like me to create. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!